Barbecuing parrot that tastes this good should be illegal. Batten down the hatches. We are creating some succulent pirate barbecue today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to grill like a pirate. So just sit right back, grab a drink or two, and let's get into it. For all the best booty, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share. Did you know the word buccaneer that is associated with pirates is derived from the South American and Caribbean name of boucan, which is a wooden framed unit that was used to smoke meat and roast it over live fire. So logically, pirates invented barbecue. What type of meat best represents pirates? They're always depicted with parrots, but Nick out of Gippsland Premium Meats, he refused to get me a parrot. So I settled on chicken Maryland fillets, 12 in total, weighing a whopping 4 kilograms. And these are skin on and boned fillets for those playing at home. Ahoy there, me mateys, is what I would say if I was a pirate, but I'm not. So nick off, you annoying landlubbers. To season these Maryland fillets, we need to get some oil onto them. And traditionally in the Caribbean, they use coconut oil. So I grabbed some in this spray pump. So just oil up both sides and flip and repeat. Once you've oiled up your Maryland fillets, I'm going to give you a simple seasoning mix that's straight from the Caribbean. You want to start off with 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon of hot cayenne pepper, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, 1 tablespoon of white pepper, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of dried basil, and 2 teaspoons of dried thyme. Once the parrot substitutes are all seasoned, we can pop them aside while we get tropical. If your mouth hole can handle being damaged, by all means, add some hot jerk seasoning to this. We are gonna need some pineapple for this recipe. Smut! And you'll be needing a whole pineapple. Smut! Cut the top off and then the bottom, then stand it up on one end and you're gonna slice off some of the rind. And using the first slice, you're going to use this as a guide because you want to cut off all of these eyes because they're no good and they're hard. We don't want them. Now, once you've skinned your pineapple, smut! Yes, I said skinned alive. Vegans. Fruit and vegetables are living things as well. We now need to slice this up, and how many slices you need really depends on how many parrot substitute fillets you have. I have 12 fillets, so I'm going to need 11 slices. Now the core is fine to eat. It's just a bit more bitter and it's less juicy than the rest of the flesh. The spiky yellow fruit originated in South America, and this includes all the islands of the Caribbean. Hence why it's being used to peddle smut in this video. It's time for some hard rod action. Well, at least he didn't mention pineapple again. Now grab your rotisserie rod and one of the gyros discs, and we're just going to slide it on and turn the little wing nut and secure that into place. And then just grab a parrot substitute fillet, fold it in half and skewer it onto the rod. And then grab a piece of pineapple and slide that on as well. Smut! And then add another folded parrot substitute fillet and then another slice of pineapple. Smut! Trying to pierce both as close to the center as possible. This will help keep your rotisserie more evenly balanced and it will put less strain on the rotisserie motor. And just keep alternating until you cap it off with the last fillet. Adding the last gyros plate, and then you'll have to adjust the discs so they're sitting right in the middle of the cooking area. And you can tell that cooking area by the little grooves on either end of the rotisserie rod. Check what the maximum weight your rotisserie can handle. For Weber rotisseries, they recommend nothing over 9 kilograms, and we're way under that. So this should be able to handle everything we throw at it, unlike their grills. Today I'm using a 57 centimeter Weber kettle, and I'm going to be pairing it up with a couple of accessories. I'm going to be using the rotisserie riser with the rotisserie and some gyros discs and also 2 charcoal baskets because I want to be cooking at temps of 240 degrees Celsius today. And how I'll do that is by filling a chimney starter with lumped charcoal. I'll light it up. Once it's all ashed over, I'll grab my charcoal baskets, place them in the middle of the charcoal grate, and I'll dump the fuel into them. And then I'll just move them to the outer edges of the charcoal grate. Don't forget to add a drip pan to catch all the oil and fat. Then carefully put the grill in place and then remove the grill because we don't need it today. What was I thinking? Carefully add the rotisserie ring. So just pop the rotisserie shaft in and push a button and make it start to spin. Pop the lid on, making sure all the vents are wide open and that lid vent is to one side of our rotisserie. And I'll come back and check that in an hour. By keeping the lid vent to one side of the rotisserie, you are going to find out your food is going to cook a lot more evenly. Now we need to make up a glaze for this pirate barbecue. And I think we all know what that means. Time for some rum. And today I'm using this Island Coast rum from Tasmania. Into a pot goes 250 grams of salted butter, half a cup of Island Coast rum, half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of honey, all of it, a tablespoon of dried rosemary, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of allspice, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And to ward off scurvy, a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And then just simmer this over a low heat for about 10 minutes while constantly stirring. By then, all the sugars should have dissolved. And once it's all cooled, I transfer mine to a squeezy bottle, one that I've cut the end off because this just stops anything clogging up that nozzle. Island Coast rum is only available to buy from them directly. Now there is a link to their website in the description of this video. So join the Rumolution and get some. We are 1 hour into the cook and look at the colour of this pirate barbecue so far. It's now time to add our rum glaze and start that caramelisation process. And after I put it into the squeezy bottle, I've left it in hot water and that just stops the butter from resetting before we use the rum glaze. Just drizzle over the rum glaze. Don't be shy, we want it all to get some of this sweet, sticky action. Smut! Put the lid back on and we're going to check back on that in half an hour. The meat is nearly cooked and now we can apply our marinade. And our marinade does have a lot of sugar in it. And sugar tends to burn if cooked for too long. Hence why we didn't put the marinade on at the start of the cook. We surely can't be cooking pirate barbecue if we aren't drinking like pirates. Break out the Island Coast rum again in its award-winning glory. Into a cocktail shaker, add 1/3 cup of ice, 60 ml of Island Coast rum, 30 ml of lemon juice, 30 ml of sugar syrup. Pop the lid on and pretend you're Tom Cruise in the movie Cocktail, being all fancy like. And now just pour over ice. Add a good dash of bitters and 1 maraschino cherry and 1 slice of dehydrated lemon from Cocktail Candy, another Aussie company smashing it. Get a few of these into you and you'll be ready to plunder some booty. Cheers. Smut! I think. Shh, you know you'll always be my first. I love a whiskey sour, so it was a no-brainer for me to make a rum sour. But I don't use the traditional egg white. So I've renamed these a Shoey Slammer. Today I'm using a roasting setup with a rotisserie. And this pirate barbecue is going to be ready for its first trimming in 1 hour and 30 minutes. Or as we like to call it on Shoey's barbecue, no death chicken. That meaning the internal temp is reading 74 degrees Celsius. Now for those of you using my beer timer, you're looking at a 3 beer cook. Cheers. Trimming off the meat as it cooks will ensure that every bite is perfectly cooked with some caramelisation on it. We are 1 hour and 30 minutes into the cook and it smells amazing. Have a gander at that. How good does that look? All those gnarly caramelised bits of chicken. Now just take the rotisserie off the heat and we're going to place it over a large tray just to make things a lot easier. And how do we know this is no death chicken? By checking the internal temp, and it should be reading a minimum of 74 degrees Celsius before we start taking any slices off it. And now we can just start slicing those outside edges off. And then just put it back on the heat and just drizzle over more of that marinade And pop the lid back on and come back and check that in another 30 minutes and slice some more off. This is perfect in rolls, wraps, salads, pizza toppings, pies, you name it. If you can use chicken in it, this is perfect. Just repeat this process until all the meat is cooked and sliced off. So slice, rebase, cook for another 20 or 30 minutes, slice, rebase, cook for another 20 or 30 minutes until it's all done.